Today is the day, guys. Super excited. Been wanting to work on this car for a while now. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm so pumped to work on Jalen's Evo. Been wanting to do this for a long time since we got the car, and finally we do have all the parts we need to get this thing 100% maintenance done. So here are all the parts that we have here. We have the whole timing belt component kit. We got the new water pump, all the pulleys, balance shaft belt. I'm gonna go ahead and install a zero-tick lifter set, upgraded cams into her Evo. So this is not a Calford cams, it's actually a HKS 272 cams that I picked up from one of my buddies maybe last year. I just picked it up from a machine shop. They did have to kind of clean it up a little bit. There's a little scar mark, so let's go ahead and open up and see how they look. Wow, they look really clean. That looks nice. So there are some areas like little deep scratches right here, and there are some areas that were kind of a little bit beat up, a lot of scratches, but they look way better than how it is before. So I'm super stoked about that. We do have some camshaft seals that we're also going to be installed. So the whole reason why that we're going to be replacing the stock cams and put some HKS 272 cams, if you guys have followed the channel, we did pull the valve cover off, and there was like one of the lobes on the camshaft, I think it was both sides, exhaust and intake, had a little chip. So that kind of got me a little bit worried. I picked up these cams from my friend for $100. It's such a good deal, so that's the reason why we're just gonna slap on the cams, so that way in the near future we are gonna be tuning the car. So first thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and drain all the coolant out. Then we're gonna go ahead and take out the ignition coil, valve cover, pop the passenger side wheel off, take out the serpentine belt, timing belt cover, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and get into it and start the project. Alright guys, so this is the progress right here. We pulled the valve cover off, we took the whole drive belt, timing cover off. I have my special tool right here to hold the cam gear so that way we can break loose on the cam bolts. First thing I really want to tackle is to change the camshaft. I'm going to take the stock camshaft off, and then we're going to take the stock lifters out, and then we're going to go ahead and clean out the HKS 272 cams that we're going to be installing. And also we're going to be installing the GSE zero tick lifter set. So I figured I wanted to go ahead and throw that on top there at the same time while we're pulling the cams off. So let's go ahead and take all the cam holders off, stock the belt from the pulley tensioner, and then we can go ahead and take out the belt and installing the new parts. Right guys, so we got the camshaft off, the lifters off, everything else you can see right here is all off. So here is the view of the camshaft on the stock one. You see that right there? This is the exhaust side, and I believe the intake side also had somewhere, if I could find it, right there. Pretty bad, isn't it? So that's the reason why that we're upgrading or replacing HKS 272 cams. So these guys are gonna be going on top there. Here is the cam caps holder, the roller, and old hydraulic lifters. Anytime you take off your camshaft on a 4G63 or anything that has lifters, you have to bleed it no matter what. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you guys. So here's the lifter. You can see how I'm trying to squeeze it with my hand and it's stuck. I can't compress it down. Every time you take off a camshaft, you have to bleed the lifters, otherwise it's gonna be a problem. You can drop a valve and it will be no good. So here is an Allen tool that I'm using. This is one way you can bleed the oil from the lifter. All you gotta do is just kind of press it all the way down. You can see how oil is coming out. You gotta keep doing this until there's no oil. Once there's no oil, then you are good to go. After you're done bleeding it, you can actually grab it and squeeze it down like this. Then you're good to go. Then you can go ahead and slap it on. So I'm pretty sure that the GSE lifters is already been, I mean, there's no oil, so I don't think that you don't need to do that bleeding procedure. So we're just gonna go ahead, lube these guys up. This is what I'm going to be using, the Royal Purple. This is what I used last time on my Evo when I did the cams. We are going to be using this to lube the lifters, slide it right in that hole, clean the camshaft with brake clean, and then we're going to go ahead and lube the lobes and also clean the whole cam caps, rollers, and the bolts. And we're going to go ahead and slap everything back in and then torque it to spec. Alright guys, HKS cams are in, GSC 0-6 lifters are in, cam bolts are all in torque inspect, 14 foot-pounds. So the way how I did on the torque sequence, what I saw on the internet is gonna be, you're gonna do a crisscross pattern. So you're gonna go this bolt right here, then next to here, this cam caps, this cam caps, this cam caps, and this cam caps. Same thing as the intake side. So we're all good to go. Get the camshaft seals, so we're all good. So I'm not gonna go ahead and put the cam gear back on yet, so that way we can have a lot of room to remove the water pump. So next, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna be taking off the hydraulic tensioner, pulley tensioner, take out this bracket over here that's mounted on the water pump and on the alternator. Take that out, put the new one in with the new gasket, change the pulleys and the hydraulic tensioner, and also we're going to be replacing the balance shaft belt and the pulley at the same time, and then we can go ahead and reinstall everything back in the car, making sure everything else is good to go. Alright guys, so we got the rear balance shaft belt and the pulley in. Everything looks good to go. Everything else is lined up from there, and also there, the gear to the groove. We want to make sure that those are marked. I try my best to clean the surface on the water pump side. That's the best it's gonna get. And I never really thought about the coolant pipe, which that also had like build up rust. So if you guys did follow me on the channel, we did pick up this car like last year of May or June, and this car's been sitting for 8 years without starting. So there was a lot of rust that was built up in the thermostat housing, maybe the block as well too, the water pump, coolant pipe, and this is how it really looks for sitting for that long. This is actually original OEM from the factory water pump, and the timing belt too is all original. You can see right there. So you know that the timing belt, water pump, pulleys were never changed on this car. So it's a good thing that we went through this route. And you know, just safe to say that this car is gonna have 100% maintenance from timing belt, water pump, all the pulleys and belt. We're gonna go ahead and slap this bad boy on. Gates do come with its own gasket already, which is this one over here, and comes with the O-ring gasket that goes on the coolant pipe. I prefer to run OEM because these gaskets are a lot more thicker than any aftermarket. So let's go ahead and slap this on, and then we can finish the whole timing belt, pulley, belt tensioner, everything that we took apart, store it right back in. Alright guys, so we put everything back, the whole side of the timing, put the drive belt, valve cover, ignition coil. We just put in new coolant, button up the charge pipe, button up everything that we disconnect. So I have the crankshaft position sensor disconnect so that way the car doesn't start up. So we're gonna go ahead and reconnect the battery, and then we're gonna cycle the engine for like maybe 2 to 3 times, and then we'll do the final startup and hopefully it goes well. The lifters are gonna make a little bit noise just because it will take some time to kind of get oil like in through the lifters, but after that it should settle down within a minute after the car is running. And then we're just gonna double check everything, make sure there isn't any leak, make sure everything is running good, and yeah, I'm super excited. Let's go ahead and start doing the cycle. I totally spaced out. I forgot to put the plugs back in, so let's go ahead and do that and then start up the car. Alright guys, here we go. So the car has been running for about 20 minutes. You don't hear any ticking noise anymore. Sounds so good. Hell yeah. Look how it sounds. All the noise quiet down. Cooling system is good. No sign of any engine oil leak or any coolant leak. Fan is turning on. I know she's quiet, but we want to get some exhaust system going. Just a few more things here and there, guys, and this car will be ready for tune. Woo! So excited. Let's check the temperature. Temperature is good. Hell yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the car cool down for like another 20-30 minutes. Just double check everything, make sure that we got everything plugged in before we go ahead and lower down the car. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all my mess over here. So while we're waiting, let's go ahead and do that. I'm stoked. I'm super stoked. So excited for this build. Hell yeah. It's coming along, guys. At least we got that out of the way. Freaking pumped, guys. I literally am. I went go ahead and put the front bumper back on. Wheels, double check on our engine oil, coolant level. I think we'll be good to go. Is now the next day, guys, so I went to go ahead and check on Jalen's Evo, just making sure that the engine oil and coolant levels are all good to go. No sign of any leaks. So we did found a little issue of that little whining noise. Well, I don't know if you guys heard though, but the water pump pulley was rubbing on the lower timing belt cover, and I forgot one of the bolts was missing, so I went to go ahead and get that tightened up yesterday. Now there's no noise other than we still have that vibration, which is the passenger engine mount that we need to take care of. But other than that though, everything else is good. You can run the HKS 272 cans on a stock valve springs. They are compatible. Anything higher, you will have to upgrade to valve springs and retainers. If you guys want to pick up any parts or special tool that we use on the video, I have it linked down below in the description box. Shout out to SM Tune for sending all the parts that we need to get Jillian's Evo going. Thank you guys for watching the video, guys. Aloha. I'll see you guys on the next one.